to everyone. We are excited to present our research proposal, the influence of perceived value and perceived enjoyment on visitor satisfaction at heritage sites among Malaysian youth. So this study is part of our HTM606 coursework. My name is Noelali Ayuni binti Zainuddin and also with my partner Nur Shafinah binti Sharif. Let me begin with a short introduction. Heritage tourism plays an important role in preserving our culture and strengthening national identity. In a country like Malaysia, which is rich in cultural diversity, this form of tourism is especially meaningful. So recently, we've seen a shift in how tourism is experienced, especially by the youth. Young Malaysian travelers aged 18 to 30 are no longer just visiting places for history or education. Instead, they are looking for authentic emotional and immersive experiences. So this includes interactive feature, digital storytelling, and also even gamified thrill. So these elements help youth connect emotionally and also socially with the places they visit. Now, let's look at the problem we identified. Even though heritage sites like Jifstone and Melaka are full of cultural value, they often fail to connect with younger visitors. Many of these sites still use static exhibits and traditional guided tours, which don't always appeal to modern youth. This causes a disconnect. Many young visitors leave without feeling emotionally engaged or satisfied, while heritage tourism focuses on education and preservation. It often lacks fun and entertaining elements. However, today's youth are drawn to experiences that are interactive, shareable, and exciting, such as live performance or teach-driven storytelling. So, without adapting to these preferences, heritage sites risk losing relevance to the younger generation. From this problem, we identified two main research gaps. First, there is a limited research that especially looks at how Malaysian youth perceive value and satisfaction when visiting heritage sites. Second, not much has been studied about how enjoyment plays a role in influencing satisfaction and future behavior, such as revisiting or recommending the place. Understanding these gaps is very important. If we can better understand what youth value and enjoy, we can help heritage manager create more engaging and memorable experiences that lead to repeat visits and word-of-mouth promotion. Based on problem and gaps, we have developed three main objectives for our study. First is to examine the relationship between perceived value and visitor satisfaction at heritage sites among Malaysian youth. Second is to investigate how perceived enjoyment influences satisfaction during their visit. Lastly is to analyze how visitor satisfaction affects post-visit behavioral intention, such as whether they will recommend or return to the sites. So these objectives guide our study and help us understanding how youth experience heritage tourism in a more modern context. Here, we present our conceptual frameworks. As you can see, perceived value and perceived enjoyment are independent variables. They are expected to influence visitor satisfaction, which is turn affect behavioral intention, such as revisiting or recommending the site. So this model will be tested through our data analysis later in the study. Now, let's move to the study variable. We have two categories of variable. First is independent variable, perceived value. This is how much benefit or worth the visitor feels they gain from the experience. This could be emotional, cultural, or even based on cost versus benefits. So second is perceived enjoyment. This is how fun, interesting, and emotionally engaging the visit is. Enjoyment is important because it can directly influence satisfaction. Thirdly is the behavioral intention. This reflects whether they plan to return or recommend the sites to others. Second is dependent variable. For this is visitor satisfactions. They measure how fulfilled or pleased the visitor feels after the experience. This variable will help us understand what really drives satisfaction and loyalty among Malaysian youth in the heritage tourism context.
Hi, my name is Nur Shafinah. Today I will focus on 4 key research hypotheses from the study. Let's begin with the first hypothesis. Perceived value as a significant positive impact on visit Certification. In simple terms, perceived value is how much visitors feel they are getting from the visit, like emotional, intellectual, and in terms of time and money. The study show a strong and statistically significant link between perceived value and certification with a standardization-based coefficient. This means that when visitors believe the heritage site is meaningful and worth their effort, they are more likely to feel satisfied with the experience. Moving on, the second hypothesis, perceived enjoyment has a significant positive impact on visit satisfaction. Perceived enjoyment refers to how fun, interesting, and emotional engaging the visit is. It's about the emotional experience and not just the educational contents. Interestingly, this study found that enjoyment has an even stronger effect on satisfaction than value itself. With a pet competition, this highlights a big shift in how we should think about heritage tourism. In the past, many sites focus only on preserving historical facts or architecture, but this research suggests that how visitors feel during their visit is just as important. Other scholars such as Zhou 2016 and Esther et al. 2011 also confirmed that enjoyment plays a major role in shaping visitor satisfaction. So if we want to improve heritage experience, we must also make them enjoyable. Now the third hypothesis, visit satisfaction has a significant positive impact on post-visit behavioral intention. This hypothesis explores what happens after a visitor leaves the site. Will they come back? Will they recommend it to others? According to the study, satisfaction is a strong predictor of this future action. The pet coefficient. This supports the well-known satisfaction like loyalty model described by Galarraza and Saura 2006. If people enjoy their visit and feel satisfaction with, they're more likely to revisit, tell others, and even post about it online. In other words, satisfaction leads to loyalty. And finally, the fourth hypothesis. Artistic value has a significant positive impact on perceived value. This is perhaps the most interesting finding of the study. While many heritage experts prioritize historical and significant important, researchers found that visitors care most about the artistic value, that is, how beautiful, unique, or impressive the site looks. The confusion here making artistic value the top contributor to perceived value. This challenged what Laura Jane Smith 2006 called the outside heritage discourse, where experts define what is valuable, often ignoring the emotional or aesthetic view of ordinary visitors. Instead, as Mason 2002 suggests, the public perception and emotional experience should be centered in evaluating heritage. This study confirmed that visitors are not just looking to be educated, like they want to be inspired and emotionally moved by what they see. For the research methodology, we adapt from Malacca with online data collection of our study adopts of positive paradigm, which is suitable for quantitative research. It assumes that reality is measurable, objective, and best understood through empirical data using this paradigm. You test hypotheses about the relationship between perceived value, enjoyment, satisfaction, and behavioral intention using numerical data collected from visitors. The research follow a descriptive design to explore how visitors perceive different value type of particular heritage in Malacca, and a causal explanatory design to identify cause the effect relationship between key variable perceived value, perceived enjoyment, visitor satisfaction, post-visit behavioral intention. This design is ideal for hypothesis testing through structural equation modeling (SEM). This study does not use a formal sampling frame as the population of interest on visitor to particular heritage site in Malacca about its birth, diverse and consensual changing, and there is no comprehensive list of all visitors. The research relies on online outreach to identify and require respondents who fit the study criteria. This study adopts on non-probability sampling techniques, especially purpose sampling. Purpose sampling is appropriate when the research needs to select respondents who have specific knowledge or experience relevant to the study objective. The minimum sample size is determined using the formula recommended by Green 1991 for multiple registration. Therefore, the minimum sample size required is 114 respondents. However, to increase statistical reliability, especially when using structural equation modeling. Inclusion criteria for survey participants. 1. Age requirement. Participant must be 18 years old and above at the time of completing the questionnaire. Second, visitor type. Participant must be international tourists who are not citizens or permanent resident of nation. Third, recent visit to Malacca. Participants must have visited at least one particular heritage site in Malacca. Example, Formosa, Crisscross, State House, and Molly within the last 6 months. Experience with heritage tourism. Participants must have prior experience with visiting heritage tourism site in Malacca or elsewhere in order to meaningfully evaluate aspects such as value, enjoyment, and certification. For the data collection, a total of 5 to 7 individuals, and including postgraduate student and individual with prior experience in heritage tourism, then were invited to complete the survey. The feedback was collected to assess the reliability of the question, the flow and structure of the instrument, and the ease of completion. Minor revisions were made to the wording and layout of specific items based on the suggestion provided to improve clarity and respondent understanding. We will do scale 5 points like scale 1 strongly disagree, scale 2 disagree, T neutral for agree, and 5 strongly agree. The actual data collection was conducted using an online self-administered survey developed in Google Form. The voice questionnaire link was distributed through various digital platforms, including Facebook tourism group, Instagram press, WhatsApp communities, and university mailing lists. I will continue about pretext. How we gave our questionnaire to a few experts to check if the questions were clear and easy to understand. They helped us spot any confusion or unclear parts so we could fix them before using the survey with real people. Pilot test. How? Next, we tested the improved questionnaire on a small group of people, about 50 participants, similar to our target audience. This helped us check if the question reliable and suitable for real data collection. Actual data collection. How? Then we share the final version of the questionnaire with the public at selected location. Like Malacca, we used random sample and collected 114 valid responses from visitors who were 18 years and above. Data analysis. How? After collecting the data, we use software like SPSS and MOS to analyze the result. We use structured equation modeling SEM to see how different factors like enjoyment and value affect visitor certification and their intention to revisit. Here are the 3 practical implications can use. 1. Focus more on artistic and cultural elements signification. The study found the visitors are more attracted to artistic and cultural value than statistical fact alone. Implication in Malacca. The site in Malacca should highlight beautiful architectural design and cultural story. Example, traditional Malay houses, Baba Nyonya culture, local craft. Visual appeal and emotional storytelling will make the experience more meaningful for visitors. In Malacca, we should not only show historical dates, but also promote unique architecture, culture, performance, and traditional design that impress visitors. 2. Improve enjoyment to increase certification significance. Perceive enjoyment as a strong impact on visitors' certification and even more than historical learning. Implication in Malacca, tourist sites should include more fun and interactive elements like culture games, like show, digital tours, or live performance. This activity make the visit more enjoyable and memorable. If we make the experience more fun, like adding interactive show or activities, visitors will enjoy more and feel satisfied with their trip. 3. Use visitor feedback to design visitor-friendly content. Significant visitors don't heavily see value in the way experts define it. They understand heritage through personal feeling and overall experience. Implication in Malacca, managers and tourism authorities should pay attention to what tourists actually say or feel. Use feedback from younger visitors who form the majority to design display, signage, and tours that are modern, engaging, and emotional appealing. Here are the 3 theoretical implications based on the article but apply to our research in Malacca. 1. Visitors don't always follow expert value categories signification. The study showed that visitors don't always recognize heritage value the same way experts do, like historical, artistic, scientific, and other than. Implication in Malacca. This suggests that exciting theories about heritage value types from experts like e-commerce may not fully explain how local or young tourists in Malacca perceive value. Our research can help add new insight about how Malaysian visitors, especially in Malacca, experience heritage in their own personal and emotional way. This shows that current value theory might need to be adjusted to include how normal visitors feel, and not just how experts define heritage. Secondly, perceived enjoyment should be treated as a key variable significance. Perceived enjoyment strongly affects certification but is often ignored in traditional heritage research. Implication in Malacca, our research supported the idea that heritage tourism is not just educational but it also emotional and entertaining. This challenge past theories that focus only on learning or culture important. So our study helps to expand theoretical models like the SCSI by updating enjoyment as a core part of visitor certification. We are helping to update certification model by showing that enjoyment is just as important as learning when visiting heritage sites. Last but not least, emotional and aesthetic experience influence perceived values significantly. The article found that artists and cultural values affect perceived value more than certificate or historical ones. Implication in Malacca. This support the theoretical idea that emotional and beauty aesthetic appeal play a big role in heritage application. In Malacca, our study can show how local visitors connect more with colorful values, culture vibe, and storytelling. This contributes to theory by highlighting the emotional side of heritage tourism, which is still not deeply explored in many heritage models. Our study in Malacca supported the idea that emotional connection and artistic beauty are important parts of heritage value that theory should include. Thank you. That's all for our group.